All right, everybody online, just to give you a quick update, I've just been given the word. Our target is to start the meeting at a quarter till. So you got another, I don't know, 5, 7 minutes, something like that. Anyway, if you need anything, use the chat feature in Zoom and we'll try to help you out that way. Otherwise, we will go mute in here. And as a reminder, the live streaming has already started. So any conversations you have will be going out to the public. Thank you. And we'll be back shortly. Thank you.
All right, we're ready to start the,
Excuse me.
bless you, everyone in the room. Wow. March 13th, meeting of the Jobs Committee. The time is 10:47. Please call us to order.
Abaticola.
Oh, sorry.
Abaticola present.
Bates, Penesis,
Penesis here.
Strathman, Young, Allen, Lewis.
Lewis here. Do we have remote attendance by anyone? Oh, okay. Madam Chair is here also.
Thank you.
All right. It doesn't look like we have any committee members online. And I know. Yeah, I don't see him now. All right. If Mr. Young hops on, we will allow him in, if that's okay with everybody. Okay. We do have a quorum, so we can go on. Oh, sorry. Wait, I say that to you. I need approval of the minutes from February 20th. Awesome. Thank you. Any corrections or objections? Okay. Let it be so. Good job. No public comments? Okay. All right. Under our job committee's priorities, we have a presentation today. We're supposed to have two, but I haven't seen our second group here yet. So I'm going to turn it over to Chris to do the introduction.
Oh, Chris Toth speaking. Yeah, I'd like to introduce Stephen LeFevre, Director of Apprenticeship and Training at the North Central Illinois Finishing Trades Institute. He's here to talk about some pre-apprenticeship programs. So Steve, I'll hand the mic over to you.
Excellent. Thanks, Chris. Like Chris said, I am Steve LeFevre. I'm the Director of Apprenticeship for the North Central Illinois Finishing Trades Institute. That's the apprenticeship program for Painters District Council 30, located right in Aurora, Illinois, in King County. I didn't put slides on the screen for you, but I got some handouts for you. So first of all, introduction business card. Second, I want to talk a little bit about pre-apprenticeship at a state level and what's going on, specifically in the construction world. So I've got 3 one-pagers there to talk a little bit about the Illinois Works Initiative. Is anybody familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we don't have to go too far into it, but it is a large investment for the past 4 years from our governor into pre-apprenticeship programs across the state to prepare individuals to get into construction registered apprenticeship programs. It's kind of a 3-legged stool. That's one of them. The second one is a little return on investment. Any state capital projects over $500,000 require that 10% of the hours performed on that is done by a registered apprentice, which is all great. And then more recent information is that now half of that 10% needs to be performed by a registered apprentice that graduated one of the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship programs. Also taking in Climate Works pre-apprenticeship programs and the HCCTP, which is funded by IDOT, if you're familiar with that pre-apprenticeship program, but all construction-based pre-apprenticeship programs. The third leg is basically just it's a virtual bid credit system that's just now standing up now that this has been running for about 4 years, but it helps contractors become more competitive by complying with regulations. Pretty simple. So that's kind of generally at a state level what's going on. And I know there were questions posed to me earlier about what are the union apprenticeship programs doing in the pre-apprenticeship world, or even what's Kane County, what's going on in Kane County. So the next bit of information in your handout there is just a flyer for a pre-apprenticeship program that you'll see the Illinois Works title on there as well. But you'll see a partnership between Hire 360 and the NCI-FTI, which is the North Central Illinois Finishing Trades Institute. So we have recently partnered with them. We were awarded grant funding to run a pre-apprenticeship program right here in Aurora. That's not just painters, but it is going to be done at our apprenticeship program with construction workers teaching it and supported by the Fox Valley Building Trades as well too. Because that's what we see happens in many areas, is that the training happens, but it's not connected to the workforce and to the industry. So, individuals are completing it, but they're not necessarily transitioning into registered apprenticeship programs. So locally, that's what we're trying to do here. And that is specifically targeted for Kane, Kendall, and DeKalb counties, along with a little bit in DuPage as well too. That is going to be a 9-week program. It's paid. There's a stipend involved while they're there. There's also funding for wraparound services or barrier reduction services. And like I said, it is primarily focused to give an individual an overview of construction, some basic health and safety right off the bat, and some certifications that they need to enter a job site. It'll give them hands-on, more of a boot camp, those survival skills, regardless what trade they go into. It's pretty math heavy. They'll learn to read blueprints or just interpret them. And then it will be introduced to the trades, to the apprenticeship programs that we have locally in Kane County. We'll do tours over there. And we also have a apprenticeship expo that we're going to be doing as well too. So the second flyer that you have there, the nice colorful one, is a partnership as well that we've done. I think this is our 7th annual building trades, Fox Valley Building Trades Apprenticeship Expo that we also host at our facility. So this is one that it's open to the public. Feel free to attend if you want to see, you know, what's going on with construction and apprenticeship programs. Be happy to have you. You know, feel free to pass that flyer out as well too. So in a nutshell, that's kind of what we're doing here locally. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Yes.
So, real quick, everybody's becoming more familiar with these pre-apprenticeship programs. Can you just real quickly tell us how important they really are to Kane County, like as far as for the future of our generation?
Yeah.
I'm not leading you anywhere, but
No, well, I mean, extremely important, right? I mean, obvious answer, but and sometimes well overlooked, maybe in a committee like this too, when we talk jobs, because typically we're kind of looking at physical locations and businesses and how many people work for that in that brick and mortar. But we have a lot of construction workers that live in Kane County due to I-88 and I-90, the corridors that run into the city and out of the city, even though the contractors may not reside right here, but we have a lot of us that do. The governor has a large plan for infrastructure, as we all know, and it's going to take a lot of energy. It's going to take a lot of water. You see it right here with the increase of data centers. We need a workforce, and as you know, the construction workforce for years has been, you know, a lot of people stopped guiding youngsters into our industry. We got rid of vocational programs in high schools. All that's changing. It's all coming back. It's all great. But because, like you said, it's absolutely essential. We have a lot of retirees that are taking place. We have a gap of enrollments. So we're not enrolling as many apprentices as we are retiring folks right now. So really, we're doing more with less. So this is a perfect opportunity, you know, to spread the word. It's a great occupation. It's not, you know, it's not an alternative. It's not a post-secondary alternative. It's an option. It's a viable option. So, you know, help spread that word.
thank you.
I have
Go
I have
ahead.
a few questions. Hi, I'm Jennifer Abaticola from District 9, way up northwest, Kane County. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Do you have any numbers to share? Just overviews of the matriculation compared to the graduation rate of your program?
For the pre-apprenticeship or our standard apprenticeships?
Standard.
I would say, and this, don't quote me, rule of thumb's always been 50-50.
Okay.
50% that enter the program will complete the program
Mhm.
and go on to have a great occupation. The other 50% maybe weren't prepared, didn't know what they were getting into. The washout typically tends to happen within 3 to 6 months. It is a different industry than most. Our paychecks are never the same. Travel to the job site here today, there tomorrow. There's a lot of commuting involved. And it's, you know, financial literacy, financial management is absolutely key in ours. You know, like I say, our paychecks are different, you know, every week. So those are primary reasons why we find that we have the quick washout, but those that make it after 6 months into that first year usually continue on.
Okay.
Question. Wait, Mr. Pennises.
Thank you for being here, Steve. And hi, Brian Dahl from the Fox Valley Building Trades back there.
I was going
Um,
to ask him to come up next, so.
Okay.
Oh,
I ruined it. Sorry about that. What is the range in age for the, both the pre-apprenticeship and the apprenticeship programs? And do you have like older, students in these programs?
Yeah, that's a great question. At one point, we were between 29 and 30 at one point in apprenticeship was an average age. Now, I'm glad to say we're not there yet. That was also a downtime where we didn't have as many apprentices, but we're probably at about 27 or 28 right now, which I think should be a surprise.
Yeah.
In the pre-apprentice or the apprentice?
For apprenticeship. Yeah. But typically we have a lot of folks that come back to construction. They tried it maybe in high school or as a summer job when they're home from college. Go whatever direction they went. We've got a lot of college degrees that come back, as well, where maybe their jobs weren't there when they got out of college, or it's just not what they thought. And they come back. So we're usually not, for a while, we haven't been the first choice. We're usually the second or maybe even the third choice, hence why they come back to us at about 25 to 30 years old.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, just one quick, I just want to thank you for this program. We have a lot of construction jobs that are available and, like jobs, we're the jobs committee here. We need to make sure that we're hiring people. And, we've got the young people involved in this. And I saw that with that apprenticeship program, you've got middle school, all the way back to middle school students, which is great. But then hitting this older, still young adults, but hitting this older group is great too. So I'm really excited about this. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I did have a few more.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm not going to say your last name ever. Okay. Is
The
that okay?
Baticola. Yeah, it's okay.
Baticola.
Yeah, you got it. Perfect.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Mr. Baticola.
Yeah. So I counted, well, first of all, I've worked with a lot of interns. I've had to receive them onto my staff in a previous position, and it is enormous amount of work for the people taking on interns to provide enough work that is good work that teaches them something to fulfill $11,000 or $9,000 worth of work at the hourly rate that you shared. Is there ever any talk, or do you ever receive any feedback from some of the people who graciously and generously take them on that they need some help with some of their administration costs, or do you ever run into any roadblocks when it comes to that?
Are you speaking to like pre-apprentices or maybe youth?
Well, I would think it would apply to both. When I've worked with maybe 100 interns. And so that's almost like an apprenticeship program where they don't know anything. They don't even know what they don't know, or very little when it comes to actually doing the work and being part of a company. And so just wondering if there's any type of financial burden that would be prohibitive to a company from taking on interns or apprentices.
Yeah, so I would kind of refer to like the construction industry. Our apprenticeship programs are more what you're referring to as internships. That's where we start individuals. But if we are looking for opportunities for folks that have not started their apprenticeship yet, such as pre-apprenticeship or CTE programs, I would say that the biggest myth or fact, however we want to look at it, but barrier from our employers has to do with liability issues on the job site. And safety, obviously, as well too. Somebody that's not necessarily qualified or doesn't have the experience to be on a construction site. So between the two, insurance, liability issues and safety issues has been our biggest hang up there, but it does take place. There's job shadowing practices out there that are combinations of some of the high schools and local CTE programs that have partner employers that like high school students will go out and just shadow. There's no pay involved or anything like that. It's just to just give them the experience of the work environment and let them see, firsthand what they're kind of studying at school.
So there's no challenge in you have all these excited young people who want to get involved and be part of the apprenticeship and then go on the job site and start working and being involved. There's no barriers or very few barriers beyond the liability.
For the individuals or for the employers?
Employers.
I would say the biggest barrier for an employer is hence the construction environment, but it comes down to the nature of the work and the scheduling with all of the construction trades on a construction project. If you've ever been on it or ever seen the scheduling, it's very hard to get somebody that doesn't know anything yet to be considered a valued asset for the employer. Hence the importance of pre-work that we do, pre-apprenticeship, give them some basic information, some understanding, start teaching them our language and the lingo that we use. What tools are, how to start using them, how to move materials to give the employer an actual valuable asset in the very beginning. But otherwise it's tough. That's why the average age is a little higher too. Most employers are going to folks that have started to work maybe in smaller shops, and then they come into the larger new construction.
I think, to add to that, Chris is actually going to be talking about IMAC, who is doing some work with internships and getting companies ready, manufacturing companies. And because I think we recognize, especially the unions have done a great job with apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships and teaching people to go into the fields. And so I think they're a little more prepared, but to like go into a manufacturing and an internship or a hospital, different environments, it is hard. And I think there are starting to be programs, and Chris will probably talk about that a little bit more in the next part.
And just one more quick question.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that too in the
No, you're
in the
good.
material. So I'm not saying my information is correct. I could be totally wrong. But I did a cursory look at how many commercial, and I just took painters. I know that there's a bunch of different verticals that you manage, but so I just did a cursory look in Kane County. I'm assuming that and maybe I'm wrong, that the majority of your apprentice go to industrial, commercial driven paint. When we're just talking about painters, because we could talk about 5 of them, but let's just do painters. And they don't just paint walls, they paint equipment, they paint machinery, they do floors, right. So I only found one union shop and the rest were family owned and operated. Does that matter to you, or do you only provide apprentice to union?
It does not matter for the pre-apprenticeship work that we're doing, but for
Okay.
apprenticeship work, because we're 99.9% privately funded, and that funding comes from union members for every hour that they work, provides the education center or education, that our members take advantage of. That is private to members of our union.
Yeah, and I'm open to be corrected. So is that true that there's only one union industrial commercial painting company in Kane County?
I'd have to look,
Okay,
but regardless where they're located, they work throughout, when we talk industrial, they work throughout the state and collar states as well too.
Yeah.
I know we have one on the south side of Aurora that may be the one that you're referring to. So I, kind of want you to think of the employers themselves less, because where they're located is not where the work is. So even, I learned that when I became an apprentice with an industrial shop in
course.
south side of Aurora. And I found out my first job was in Alsip on the south side of Chicago. And then my second job was in Gurnee. I learned real quickly how construction works. So while we may not have a lot of contractors right here in Kane County, I can only think on the top of my head, I've got about 6
Mhm.
contractors, but we work with over 350 contractors in the Chicagoland area.
Mhm.
All that can employ residents and citizens of Kane County.
Mhm. Just trying to get a landscape. view.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not,
thank you. Appreciate it.
no problem.
All right, thank you. Madam Chair?
Thank you. I know when we first brought forward pre-apprenticeships to the board, there was some confusion. I know, Deb, you asked me quite a few questions about pre-apprenticeships at the very beginning, what the difference was between a pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship, what's the lines are. So to clarify that, pre-apprenticeship is for high school graduates. Is that what you're looking for right now? And then early college kind of age career?
I'll start with apprenticeship. Because apprenticeship is standardized, it's defined by the Department of Labor. But they're registered apprenticeship programs, so there's standards to them. In fact, in ours, we're nationally accredited, so we're also recognized by the U.S. Department of Education, so they're legitimate post-secondary educational offerings and institutions. And it's combined with what we call related technical instruction, which is the formal training at our training centers, whether it's PowerPoint presentations in a classroom learning theory, or whether it's practical in our labs, taking apart equipment or learning how to use them. And that's combined with on-the-job learning, working for a contractor and earning money at the same time, and learning on the job, as it takes place throughout the term of apprenticeship. And those run anywhere from 3 to 5 years. Majority of those, I think the numbers are, in Illinois, registered apprenticeships, construction makes up, I believe, 97% of all registered apprenticeships in Illinois. And 97% of that is union-based apprenticeship programs. So I'll speak basically on the union apprenticeship programs. And that does come into play, earn while you learn, but also a union member working for a union contractor on union job sites as well. Now, pre-apprenticeship is open to everybody and anybody. There is a little gap for high school students because of the minimum age requirements, which is always 18. That's coming from the federal grant funding that does this. It's coming from the state, and Illinois Works. And we are working with valleys here in the area, even on a state level, to try to get some of these to change a little bit. Because we do find everything's pathfinding and guiding folks, and we have gaps after high school. So they're heading one direction, and they've got to wait, a little bit before they can actually get into them. But Illinois Works has a couple that are working directly with high schools, but it's not in this area. So those are kind of pilot programs now. But any 18 and over work ready and eligible individual, WIOA eligible, we're looking for everybody and anybody that's interested in getting into construction. This is a great place to learn about it and kind of, I would just say, shake the trees a little bit and see if this is something that you really want to do. And that way, hopefully we get them excited as well too. And if they choose to do it, it's a great career.
Okay. Deb, did that help you out, Miss Allen, to get a better understanding? Deb, I'm right here. I'm just asking, did that help you get a better understanding of the apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs?
So we have, we're just looking for as many kinds as we can. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I think we're just looking for as many kinds as we can get, as any variations depending on the field, and I think Anita's just done an amazing job of steering youngsters who need those choices.
And if I may, have one more question, please. Thank you. So it was mentioned, we were talking about small family businesses or maybe large family businesses, but not even a family, just business, right? That is a non-union contractor or painter or carpenter or handyman or woman versus a union shop. Is there a difference in the level of work that would be hired? So if we're building a apartment building that is going to house 500 people, or a new hotel that's being built by a casino, would that necessarily be the contractor? Would that contractor, the builder, look towards a individual privately owned firm, or would you look towards a privately owned firm that is union? And what would be the difference in skill set and capacity?
From the perspective of the builder,
Correct.
what are they going to look for? I'm going to look for a union contractor that is not your small family owned company.
Mhm.
If you're talking a 500 unit apartment complex or hotel, that's pretty large. It's a pretty large investment. So I would want to make sure that I'm working with a larger contractor. When it comes down to the union value, is, it's going to get done on time, on budget. It's going to get done safely. The training we put into not only bringing our younger generation into journey worker status, whether it's the health and safety certifications or the actual skill sets that we teach them. We've got continuing education that is offered to every one of our members and required on our job sites. Our general contractors have requirements from the get-go and all the way through, whether it's, stretch and flex in the morning to avoid injuries to, daily safety talks and job box talks and all that kind of stuff. So both quality, efficiency, safety, I would look to a larger union contractor. And you've got it behind there.
Okay, thank you.
All right. If there's no other questions, I would like to ask Brian Dahl to just come up and say good morning. You're in the room. Come on now.
Good morning, Brian Dahl. My full-time job, I'm with Painters District Council 30, but I also serve as the president of the Fox Valley Building Trades, which is all the construction unions that have jurisdiction in both Kane and Kendall County. The only thing I was just going to add that Steve, I think the question was asked about washout and stuff like that. And that's where these pre-apprenticeships are important. Those that go through their apprenticeships and then graduate are most likely to succeed in an apprenticeship program and less likely to wash out. For years, I think the unions kind of shunned these pre-apprenticeships because we had our own training, but now they're seeing how viable they are. And obviously the investment the state is making here too, important. So I just came here to support Steve. So
I know, but you're always willing to talk. I
Sure.
never mind putting anybody on the spot. I think what I liked about the pre-apprentice, and it's kind of like the ones they do in manufacturing too, you get the OSHA certificate in this, and you get some basic skills in your pre-apprentice that are going to translate whether you stay in construction or whether you go to manufacturing or whether you go to whatever all else. Some of these things are just really, really good building blocks for anybody to go into any job. So I'm really impressed with these programs.
yeah, I think and Steve spoke about it earlier, prior to this was you had all these pre-apprenticeships, but there was no connection to the union apprenticeships. And we're starting to see the shift on that now.
All right, good. Any other questions before we move on?
Alan,
Into your
Where's-
microphone.
okay, trying.
Come on.
All right. Why would there be resistance? Is it because?
You have to be closer.
You have to speak into the mic.
Okay. Why would there be resistance? Why would the unions not welcome people with a little more training as opposed to bare people showing up on the doorstep with no background at all? Was that just everyone likes a silo?
Yeah, I think back then it was, the unions invest a lot of money into their training, had their training. So therefore, they were wanting to have, a student come right out of high school or whatever college to go right into their apprenticeship into training. And back then there wasn't a lot of these pre-apprenticeship programs. Now you're seeing a much more, not just in Illinois, throughout the United States. And it was, I think it was just more, we had the training, therefore they should be coming through ours. But that everybody's looking at it differently and seeing how viable they are, because what it actually does, it introduces everybody into the trade, but then it also washes them out if they don't want to be in until they go into an apprenticeship. And then goes to your, comments a little bit, the investment with the employer. If the employer just brought somebody in just through the apprenticeship and have that washout, that employer did a huge investment into this person and now they're no longer here. Whereas if you're bringing candidates coming in from the pre-apprenticeship and they graduated and got into an apprenticeship, they're most likely going to succeed throughout that apprenticeship and be viable for that employer. But that was part of the issue with the employers with the washout. They invest into this worker for a year and a half, and then that worker decides to leave for whatever reason. And now that employer has to start all over with a new apprentice if they want to. So.
All right, thank you.
And I know for a fact that that does happen in the frustration of taking the training and having the people work and then they go, I'm done. And a small employer is left without staff, without people to support. Then it's hard for them then to bid for a job because they don't have the people in their company to go forward and do the work. So it is a real problem.
And then, I don't know if it was so much a comment, but the majority of, I can speak about the painters, but I think I can speak on behalf of construction too. The majority of the employers are actually small business owners. Just because they're a union contractor, don't think they're this big union contractor that employs hundreds of workers. The majority of the union construction employers are actually small businesses where they employ 5 to 10, maybe 15 workers. Definitely, we see it on the painting side that the majority of ours are small business. Yes, we have those big employers that employ over 100, painters or drywall finishers. But the majority employ anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For on the spot. All right, our second presenter is not here. They were from the Quad County Urban League and they have a pre-apprenticeship program and they work more with ComEd and NICOR and those kind of things, but I'll bring them back a different time. So we can move on to the Kane County Economic Development Initiatives. And that would be back to Chris.
Thank you very much. Chris Toth speaking. Just two things from me today. The first thing is something I've sent to the committee offline, but also passed around a handout. This launched, I believe, Monday. So this is hot off the presses from IMEC. It's their Next Gen Makers internship. It's really fitting in with our theme today of pre-apprenticeship programs, but it's a program developed with support from DCEO to provide manufacturers with a clear framework to create, implement, and manage structured internship experiences inside of their own facilities. This is a program that's eligible for manufacturers with 250 or less employees that are primarily engaged in NAICS codes 31 through 33. So that's anything for the manufacturing sector where they take raw material and turn it into finished product. These companies may be eligible to up to $8,000 of paid intern wages with a maximum of 2 interns per company to support the wages. And as part of this program from IMEC, the manufacturers receive the structured internship framework and implementation templates, guidance on planning, onboarding, and mentorship, tools for structured check-ins and performance reviews, and support throughout the internship lifecycle. This application process is designed to be simple and self-directed. Manufacturers can apply online, electronically sign the program agreement, and be contacted by IMEC to schedule a kickoff meeting. Our partners at IMEC are some of our best friends. They've continued to tout the wonderful success of both phase 1 and now phase 2 of our Lighthouse Manufacturing Program. So I will be sharing this out with our partner list as well, just to make people aware of this. Anything that we can do to help get our manufacturers supported for future workforce is something we're proud to do. So before I move on to my next time, I'll take any questions if anyone has them.
Okay, any questions on this first? Because this is exactly what you were talking about, is offering support, because you're absolutely right. I lived my life in manufacturing and we would bring an intern in, summer interns especially. And yeah, they were useful and they did things, but just that coming up with what are we going to teach them? What are we going to show them? How are we going to train them? Took away from people that already had other jobs. So getting IMEC to come in and support this and then also give that stipend, it's a really big deal. It's kind of innovative. You wouldn't think it is, but it is.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing this, because I read that Monday too and printed it out. I was like, this is awesome.
Awesome.
Can I ask a question about that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So in many manufacturing companies, there's proprietary information, depending on the contracts that they engage in with the military or the government. There's a lot of security involved in that. I don't want to lecture anyone on the details, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So that is expensive to an employer. And those people that are going to be working with apprentices, pre-apprentices, interns, that whole bucket of people, they already have a full workload. And I just would never want anything. I just believe in young people, and to get them on the right path is so great for them. Earning income, working a 40-hour week, all these things they're not used to. And then helping them reach their full potential of where their talent is and working with your hands and all these things. I just want to say that so you know that's what I think about pre-apprentice, apprentice, and interns. Is an awesome place for us to put money and time. But I also know that on the other end are employers, and we want to make sure that all of these young people have a place where they're welcomed and there's a program set up and they come every day ready to work and accepted. And it's not a burden on an employer or on an employee that is required to coach them and mentor them and teach them. And there's a lot of other costs involved in taking on even a 1099. And so that's my point. Thank you for hearing me on that. Is anything we can do to support an employer, whether they're union or not a union shop, I don't care. Just to make sure that they're already being generous enough to let these people in, young people in, that we're just supporting them 100%.
I think Adam might have an answer for that
I'd
one.
be happy to answer
Mhm.
that as well. Yes, that is one of the major facets of the WIOA legislation that we work with in workforce development. We support employers for on-the-job training where we can offset the pay of the interns, where we can actually apply grant dollars to the employer for on-the-job training to help upskill their employees to take on an intern or take on an apprentice to train them, and we're able to offset those costs or help align with employers to get various tax incentives. There's opportunities for employers that we work with to help them apply for bonding through the Illinois Department of Employment for individuals that have backgrounds to make them, like take a little bit of that risk of bringing on somebody that does have a background as an intern. So there's a lot of different programs that we support, with financial incentives, tax incentives, and just helping get those apprenticeships off the ground to begin with.
Yeah. And I know that all the actual payroll is covered, or the 1099 is covered and funded, but there's other costs involved, even the slowing down of work, that a person can't get everything done, and productivity is profit to teach someone. That's really what I'm talking about. I know their hourly, other compensation is covered, but a small business owner does incur a good amount of other things involved. So that's it. I don't have anything else to say about it.
Go ahead, Chris.
I just want to add to that. One of the reasons we're extremely excited about sharing this program is because it comes through IMEC. IMEC has been our top partner for the last decade in working with manufacturers. And when they put out a program like this, it's to look at it at its face, it looks like a great program, but to know the background of working with IMEC as both as a partner for the county, but as seeing them work with local manufacturers, they're the best people we have right now to be able to put on a program like this. And that's why it's really exciting, because you had spoken about earlier about the DOD measures that you have to go through to become certified to do business with the Department of Defense and that type of manufacturing. We have engaged in programs like that with other partners from the region before, but we did not find a lot of buy-in until we partnered with someone like IMEC to do that, to help work with all of the different entities to get manufacturers ready to do DOD work, because it is a complicated mess, but it's an exciting pipeline and opportunity for their business. And so whenever we share something with IMEC, we're just really confident that this is, the best thing that can be put forward at this time.
Yeah, but to kind of end this conversation, I think we all understand that there are definitely challenges with taking on an intern. Programs like this are things that we want to definitely get behind, because it does save some of that burden off. And if you know of anybody, that's in that world of interns and they want some help, send them our way, and we'll see if there's programs out there, because there's a lot of programs out to help different people. And not everybody should have an intern. I'm going to say that also, because not everybody should, But yeah, no, it is good. And anybody who wants, we want to make sure that we can support them. Question from the audience? No. Madam Chair.
peanut gallery over there, some signing contracts and whatnot. So I also established, when I was a professor, established an internship program. And what I found out and it went from a department to college-wide, the whole university adopted
Get a little closer.
adopted the program. So what I found out is that the employers really appreciated the intern for those employers who wanted an intern. Because it's an option. No one is forcing an employer to take an intern. But what I will say, generically speaking, is that we have a reduction of workforce. For the first time, people who are aging over 50 outnumber the people who are 2 years old in the United States. That's a huge discrepancy. And where we think that robotics are going to be taking over our whole entire lives, that is indeed not the case, because people need to work. If they don't work, they're going to be on subsidy, which is going to cost our taxpayers more, because otherwise people have to work to earn money. So in order to gain, I'm speaking very holistically, in order to gain earnings, in order to gain the training, you have to start someplace. We all started someplace, whether it was myself working for Montgomery Wards behind the catalog office, taking orders and allowing people to pick up, waitressing. We all started someplace. And this is the internship that allows focused work rather than randomly finding your path forward. So whether or not, yes, it can be challenging. And if a company decides that it's not worth their time and effort, as owners of that company, they can stop it. But for those companies who find it to be a value of interest and actually inspiring, because a 18, 19-year-old is going to bring youthful energy because they're youthful and they're energetic. They're curious. If they're a good worker, they're going to be an absolute asset, not necessarily to production quality, but certainly to morale and mentoring, which brings a lot to the person who's mentoring them. So I find personally, I am such a huge fan of training our youth. Maybe that's because I was an educator, that I think, to me, these programs are extraordinary. They're finite. They're not large. They're finite, whether you're a private industry, whether you are a larger industry, no matter what you're doing, having that opportunity to interface with youth, to mentor, is very beneficial for all of us.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And for my second piece of information, this is some may not be as sad as I am, but I wanted to announce that coming shortly in the next couple weeks, we will be sunsetting the ycane.org website. I don't know if anyone's been on there. Well, it was a project of the Jobs Committee about 10 years ago. We spent a lot of time putting that together. It was a great resource at the time for our local businesses and our local economic development needs. But as we move forward with the EDC and the work being, a lot of economic development work being there, we found it to be a redundant site. I'd also like to make sure I send a big thank you for the IT team, because we did design and build that entire website in-house with our IT team. From design to code to information was all done with the work of the committee and the staff. So thank you to them. We're just really excited about the new website for the EDC coming soon and sharing our information there.
Correct.
And then
Now, I do have one question.
Please.
On that, because on LinkedIn, you regularly post under the YCane. That's not going to go away, right?
Nope, I'm up to 700 viewers, and my viewership has almost doubled in the last couple of months. So I'll be sharing Kane County Connect stories, economic development stories, still on LinkedIn there. But you know, John has more information that he can share at future points about their website. But yeah, I'll still be doing that.
All right.
Promote the YCane LinkedIn website as opposed to the LinkedIn page as opposed to the website.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a great job getting those things out there. So thank you for that.
Then I'm going to pass the mic over to John Gruling.
Okay. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
I don't think, will you introduce yourself? Because I don't think Jennifer has met you.
Yeah, we
Our
met.
new board- Oh, you did? Okay, perfect.
She was at EDC World Headquarters this morning.
EDC World Headquarters.
Well, it is.
Good.
We're global.
No.
So speaking of websites, the Kane County Economic Development Corporation posted their first ad in Site Selection Magazine in March. And if you'd be so kind at our next meeting, I think we can do a little dog and pony show for you. But as a result of that, we knew we needed our internet connection. So we did, through our marketing agency, create a landing site for our webpage. It's just a landing site, but it is the foundation for the future CaneCountyEDC.com. Okay, that's the handle. And what's exciting about the ad that appeared in Site Selection Magazine. Site Selection Magazine is a globally recognized periodical, started out as a magazine for site selectors and corporate real estate executives. So that if you're looking for a location in the Midwest, you would pick up your most recent copy of Site Selection Magazine, look at the Midwest states that are represented, and you go to their ads. Now you do it all online, but Kane County, through the Economic Development Corporation, now has a presence on that very valuable website. The other thing that is cool about the March edition of that magazine is that Chicago Metro was, for the 13th year in a row, for people that think Illinois is not a good place to do business, for the 13th year in a row, Metro Chicago is #1 in corporate locations. 600 companies chose to move to the Chicago area or expand in the metropolitan Chicago area. So we were ahead of Dallas, we were ahead of Atlanta, we were ahead of Raleigh, we were ahead of all of the places that we thought were sort of beating us up. And we have our challenges. It's not to say we can't get better at this. But the good news is we're able to celebrate this as a member of the Greater Chicagoland Economic Partnership. And it was through that accumulation of information on deals that put us #1 for the 13th year in a row. It's very significant. And, we're going to continue to take advantage of that. The only other thing I have to report this morning is next week, we will be announcing the new CEO for the Kane County Economic Development Corporation. So don't hold your breath, but we'll do a release early next week. Thank you.
And will you bring that person with next month?
Of course.
Maybe? Okay, wonderful.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any questions before we move on? And no, don't ask who it is because the announcement's not out yet. Okay. All right. Then if there's no other questions, let's move on to the Office of Community Reinvestment, better known as Workforce Development. Adam.
Thank you. So first off, I'd like to introduce our new industry partnerships manager in the Office of Workforce Development. Ms. Marcia Paskey is with us here today.
You could come up and say hello.
Come on up, Martha.
Hi, Martha.
Most of us
Paschke.
know Martha, but
Yes. Good to see you all.
welcome.
So invited Martha here today, talking with, the other presenters that were here. In workforce development, we do a lot to support apprenticeships. We are directly supporting Steve's apprenticeship program with the Painters Local. We also do a lot of work with the community colleges and tracking registered apprenticeships across the 3-county area and work with them. Currently in Kane County, we got 546 registered apprenticeships that are currently progressing. And I was able to just pull some of the information you were asking about before. 50% of them are in that 25 to 54 age range of the registered apprenticeships in Kane. The majority are male. And right now in our area, those apprenticeships are predominantly in the trades. we're hoping to increase with having our new industry partnership manager on board, helping to increase those numbers. Right now, there's about 5% of those apprenticeships are in the manufacturing range. But we're looking to try to expand that with our partnerships with IMEC, with the Valley Industrial Association, and looking at building those supports. And they're a huge investment in the state. Right now, the state, basically their financials show that for every dollar that's invested in apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs returns about $3. So it's a 300% return on investment for apprenticeship programs. That's why as we begin to, reimagine the different positions in workforce development, Martha's position will be part of that key role in helping coordinate those apprenticeship programs across all the different entities throughout workforce development. As a direct update for the Workforce Development Division, our local and regional plans have been put out there for public comment. At this time, it's a 2-year update on a 4-year plan. The public comments that are out there right now are basically looking at the edits to those plans. Once those are done, they're submitted to the state and they get rolled up into the state's plan for the 4-year plan. Our youth and adult RFPs will be going out today and next week. The RFPs are for subcontractors to provide WIOA services in both the youth and adult programs. So I'll have an update for those. Our next workforce board meeting is next week on the 18th. So I'll be able to have more information on that in next month's jobs committee meeting packet. Right now, we're making excellent progress on our corrective action plan. We've actually got some very good news from DCO as to the progress that we've been making. They are very happy with the amount of progress that we have made. We are continuing to move forward with that. I was able to get a kiosk update. Our kiosks that are distributed throughout the 3-county area. Right now, all 15 kiosks have been placed and installed. Overall, between all the 15 kiosks, we've had 1,112 sessions that have been utilized at those. The largest locations are Hesed House, Santori Library, and Gail Borden Library. Those are and then the West Branch Library are the top 4 entities. The kiosks help drive information to our WorkNet Batavia website, which is driven about 320 site visits based off of those kiosks. So they are generating quite a bit of activity in the area. And so, we're excited about continuing to push those out, working with area employers to get more and more job opportunities on there. We just got an alert this morning that Aurora Packing Company is going to be expanding their operations in North Aurora. And so that will be adding 15 new positions onto the kiosk job boards later on this afternoon. We've met with multiple other employers throughout the area to be able to get that direct pipeline so that our kiosks are the, fastest way to find out who's hiring in the 3-county area.
Good. Very good. Thank you for that update.
My
Perfect.
pleasure. Sorry I didn't formally do it. I'll
No,
make sure to have
that's
it on there
fine.
next time.
That's fine. It's one of mine and Madam Chair's pet projects, so.
No, they're
Yeah.
the awareness is getting out there. We're continuing with our marketing and we're hoping to continue to drive that. And like I said, the more direct hiring opportunities that we have on those kiosks, the more usage that they will get as people start to realize this is the most up-to-date, job opportunities in our 3-county area.
Yeah, we have one that's placed in the lobby at the King County Adult Corrections area. I was visiting there. I was not, I'm just visiting. And I thought what a great thing as people are being released that they can go right there and look at the kiosk and look at what's available out there, because usually that's a requirement, when you leave a facility to find a job right away. So I like the fact that one was placed there. That was ingenious.
Yeah, from mid-March from mid-February to today, there have been 48 sessions on the Kane County Sheriff's kiosk.
Wow,
It-
good job.
Community college sites aren't as popular as the ones you mentioned. That's kind of surprised me, right?
I'm sorry,
There's kiosks at like ECC and Wabansie, right?
there are not.
Oh, there aren't.
The locations are
Oh.
Hesed House, Santori Library, Gail Borden Library, West Branch Library, IDHS Kane County Elgin, IDHS DeKalb, Quad County Urban League, Kane County Sheriff's Office, Sandwich Library, Genoa Library, Yorkville Library, WorkNet Batavia, which that one is in our kiosk, which can be probably moved out if somebody requests one. And then DeKalb Library and Plano Library are the locations of all
And
the
I can
kiosks.
talk on that. We, when we decided where they should get placed, we have 15. And the colleges generally have really good computer access to things but a place like Hesed House, you know, there's population there that really needs to find jobs. So they don't have to go anywhere, it's right there. The libraries are also another place everybody knows, oh, if you want to go and look for a job, there's computers at the library, so it's a perfect place to have them at those kind of places. So they were very strategically placed where we thought people that might not have access to, you know, the computers or access to look for jobs could be there. And also people at these sites are also trained to kind of help the people that are using them along.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, it's expanding the opportunities for people that otherwise wouldn't have it. And community colleges, you know, I mean, there's opportunities for them there. So, yeah.
Adam, do you have any information about where those inquiries landed and how many people were hired? Or I know it's a work in progress and it's an awesome work that you're doing, but any information about how many hires?
I
came-
do not have any direct hire information based off of the kiosks. We can see what the number one website of the kiosk does drive them to our WorkNet Batavia, which is our local Alwea website, which is the largest site where they go to, followed by the Illinois Job Link, which is the IDES employment page as well. And then, yeah, it's predominantly between the three largest are driving it to our WorkNet Batavia job site, our Illinois Job Link website, and Illinois WorkNet, which is the Illinois Workforce Development Board website. So those are the three largest right now, but I'll be able to check to see if there's a way to track resumes or applications that are being submitted through
Probably
those websites.
applications.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe on the IDES website, when you log in and you have to go through all the portals, you have to check where you found out about, like they track it. And do you know if your kiosk is listed there? Because that would be an interesting data check. If you could get the county or your kiosk on there, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I will double check to see if there is a linkage through that. I mean, we are able to track because we do have access to all of the employment databases throughout the state. But basically that's utilized to like individuals that are part of our programs, that are enrolled in our programs. We're able to check their employment status and salary status and all of that. I'd have to see if the kiosks capture enough information for us to be able to do that if it doesn't already link, but I will definitely have an answer
Such
for
a
you.
good work you're doing.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Madam Chair.
And as a follow-up to that good work, the other day I was coming into the office and a woman stopped me. I was at a meeting previously and I was talking about WorkNet because there are people unemployed looking for jobs right now. And I talked a little bit about what the programs that they do. So when she stopped me, she said, "Thank you for sharing that information with me." She's been unemployed for 5 to 6 months, has not had one interview, has apparently a solid resume, because she said that wasn't the problem. But she registered and had a conversation, and she said, they didn't help me with the resume because that was fine. But what they helped me with was the approach that I take, and gave me very good advice, apparently. Well, lo and behold, she had her first interview in 6 months.
Mm.
And that alone just, I mean, she was thrilled. I do not know if she got the job because this conversation just happened this week. And I asked if she gets the job, would she be willing to come here and talk to us? So, yay team.
Yeah.
Yay team.
That's good. All right. Anything else? I mean, that was enough. It was good.
Yeah, those are all the big things that are happening right now. The regional local plan out there for public comment, and then the RFPs coming out for providers and next year's grant
Wonderful.
activity.
If there's no other questions. All right. I don't believe there's any new business. And I did want to share, I sent this entire committee the information about the upcoming Illinois Economic Development Association Conference Summit, which is June 24th and 25th, and it's in Chicago this year. They alternate. I think I've gone to several now, and they are so good, so worthwhile. The things you learned and the networking. Anybody who can make it, go. And of course, you do have to fill out the form, you know, for the approval. But you need to let Chris know, because they will pay for our registration. We're required to pay for our own transportation, room, and any additional food other than that's served there. But still well worth it. And so you need to turn in for that reimbursement ahead of time to get it pre-approved. But it is in June. So if anybody didn't see that I sent that or want me to send it again, I'll be more than happy to. And I might have sent it to Mr. Roth also. Okay, I will send it to you.
Very worthwhile. I attended last year, and yeah, the networking, you know, these conferences, it's the networking that's so key, and it was really good networking there last year. So
They're fantastic. All right. I think that is all I have. I need a motion to place the reports on file.
I move for unanimous consent to place reports on file.
Okay, no need for executive, but before we adjourn, I would like to arrange with Adam that either we do maybe a jobs committee meeting remote over at there, or at least we can set up a tour, because I was there a few weeks ago. I snuck in, you weren't there that day. And just to walk in and see what's going on in that office and see the number of flyers and the different places that are hiring and all of our community partners that we're working with. We sit here and it's kind of hard to get your hands around what really goes on there until you see it in person. So I don't know if we can do a remote. I'll have to talk to Blair about that if we have the equipment, but I'll get back to you on that. But I do want to get us all over there. This is important.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's welcome
Mhm.
anytime. But
Yeah, we won't sneak in without you knowing next time.
well,
All right. And that I need a motion to adjourn.
Genesis moves to adjourn.
Avacola seconds, right?
I second.
All righty. All in favor?